Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
And welcome back to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and my lovely co-host, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Daphne. How are you today?
Hello, Ashton. How are you?
I'm well. I'm doing good. Yeah, so looks like we're back on another episode here, and you had mentioned earlier you want to kind of like maybe throw around some ideas on this oneness that we experience on the other side, that we should be experiencing on this side and all, because so many people talk about that oneness, that connection with the oneness with all.
Exactly.
Any comments on that? Let's just jump into it and start. Anything you've got to say, I'll be glad to discuss it with you.
Yeah, it's just amazing at how many NDE stories there are out there that are based around the collective, based around the connection of everything and everyone. Okay, so if everything and everyone is connected, we've separated ourselves from that in our belief systems. We have to open our mind and clear out the clutter that's in there that prevents us from knowing that we are that part of that.
So where would you start? Like anything, I guess the beginning. So the beginning, I would say, would be to realize that things have been tampered with.
Right. I mean, really think about it.
Your whole concept of what life is, what the afterlife is, heaven and hell, and God and Jesus, and all these, tons and tons of religions. I mean, let's kind of get to the source of all this, and then we can go ahead and tie in the oneness and the all consciousness and everything. But we have to really divide or separate the religious influence from that. Wouldn't you say, as a beginning?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say a while ago, is we really have to remember we are born absolutely pure, untainted, unadulterated. We have pure consciousness. And you think and hear about so many kids being, seeing and having imaginary friends that could very well be the spiritual side and them still connected to that. But if we're all born pure and unadulterated, which we are, then it's not long before our parents go to putting their thoughts on us, their beliefs on us, our teachers, our friends, the indoctrinations from government, from religions, societies at large. I mean, we are polluted. We have to get back to base source, clear out all of those, and really ask, who am I truly? Because we are not this physical body, which is our story, what we think we are. We're so much more than that. In listening to these NDE stories, we realize that when they separate from their body, they're more than just this physical. So they are going on and sharing a collective consciousness with everyone, that oneness. And we have to clear out the clutter and clean up the space to regain the knowledge and the sense of who we truly are.
Of course, because religion, more specific,
religious is one of the biggest
has
influences.
Really been such a major player in the psyche of mankind, and
exactly,
our soul concept of life itself and the afterlife, and no matter who you are, at some point in your life, you will be asking questions about the afterlife. You know,
Right,
you may
whether it's
ponder it.
now or whether it's, on your deathbed. You're going to
Absolutely.
ponder over these, what's happening next?
Yeah, so this is one thing you cannot get around is the afterlife. And so it would be the perfect thing to control, wouldn't you think? To give someone that illusion of power. You've got the keys to the afterlife. You know, you can control people and their whole thoughts of the whole afterlife. Wouldn't you say? I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of stems from, the religions of the world. I mean, religions, period, taint our pureness, taint our realization of who we really are. I mean, we see and hear so many of these stories where we are truly connected on an energetic level with everything around us, from the plants and trees and animals out there. We are all one
That
of
oneness,
spirit.
yeah.
Yes. I mean, and you probably be more apt to remember exactly what the scripture is about the oneness of mind.
You know, Yeshua and a lot of these, ascended masters, they knew they were one with the all.
Right.
They are one with the source. All of us are. And that's what this is all about. They teach us how to be that one with the all.
Right.
And the NDEs, when you cross to the other side, you somehow or another connect back to that source of who you really are, from what I understand.
Exactly. And then you hear so many of the stories where they are a collective. They know everyone's thoughts, but yet can single out particular conversations. But it's almost too much for our little simple minds on this side of the ramp to comprehend. But I mean, really think of that. I mean, if everything, it's a collective consciousness. We have to really clear what we think we know about everything.
Even God, even this
Yes.
concept of God.
Source, yeah.
It means so many different things to so many different people. And I would highly recommend anytime you get into the conversation or the subject about what we would call God, is up front, get clear on that other person's idea of what their idea of God is.
Exactly.
And then you get clear and let them know what your concept of God is. Now, is God this, vengeful Israelite God that, destroyed all these people
Right.
Christianity, or is your God this man, that God became man and died and was raised and resurrected? Is that your God? Or, or is it, the millions of the Hindu gods? Or is it, the source, that consciousness that we talk about? Where would you start with something like that? And that's what I would do. So like if for you and I, for example,
Yes.
we're talking about God, what is your idea of God?
Exactly. I mean, ask that of everyone, and don't be that quick to throw in the indoctrination. Well, you're believing wrong. It's this way. Don't
Never.
push your thoughts, your beliefs on another person. Let them believe what they believe, because
Correct.
I'm going to believe what I want to believe.
Correct.
You
As
know,
long as that source brings you closer to your higher self, your
The
higher
higher good.
good,
Yes.
the greater good, your source, your, what we call God, that
Right.
the all, is that consciousness God? What we call
Exactly.
God. That, I'm asking you, what would you say?
I would say yes. In my belief system, yes.
Okay. That's like why I said that earlier, make sure, because like I said, some people think that the God is this or that, or like, I didn't finish saying earlier, there's a person in the clouds sitting on a throne, and, and we just don't know. There's so many different concepts of what God is.
Right.
And so let's take a look at the actual definition of what consciousness is here, according to ChatGPT. And I'm going to read here. It says, consciousness is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that encompasses an individual's awareness, thoughts, perceptions, sensations, and experiences. It is often described as the state of being aware of and able to think about one's own existence, sensations, thoughts, and surroundings. Any comments?
Yeah, I mean, I immediately go to my brain goes to some of these experiences of the NDEers, where it goes to a collective consciousness. So we're more than this physical being. We are our consciousness.
Right.
We're just we're having a human experience.
Right, which ties in with the OBEs in the actual near-death experience. You have that separation.
Separation of consciousness.
But they're still aware.
Exactly.
They're aware of the body that's left
So
behind.
that tells us
they're aware that they're on a different, so that awareness continues.
Yeah, so that tells us right there from listening to these that we are more than just this physical body. We are more than what our story is, whatever it's been, the pain or joy that we've had in our life, the ups and downs, the loves, the dislikes. I mean, we are more than what our story is.
Absolutely. And the beauty of all this, Daphne, I've learned here recently, since I really started getting into this, is the beauty of being able to go on and on and on.
Like the Energizer
and living
Bunny.
in that love and just never dying.
Exactly.
And this, where we're at here on this plane, this level, this density, or this whatever, earth plane, it's just a little phase we go through.
Right.
And once we go through this, we'll transition, and you'll have to get the energy balanced back out, of course, and purged out, and go back to that source. And I mean...
Yes, exactly. I mean, we focus so much on the here and now that this is all there is. But I mean, you take an object that closest to you, pick it up and look at it, and point to one spot on it. That is what we're focusing on right here and right now. How big is that object in front of you?
You got in your hand. You said as an example.
Exactly.
You see a little point right at the end of that ink pen.
Click this pen on, and the point comes out. That is our life here in this existence, in this realm. The rest of this pen is 4 to 6 inches long. I mean, that's the rest of eternity.
Yeah, or take that pen and start drawing a line with it. However long that line can keep on going.
The ink that's inside it continues on. Yeah, so we're more than this shell.
Right.
We are the conscious that exists beyond the body.
It's worlds inside of worlds.
Yeah, and we really have. I think we could all start with meditating.
Yes.
Clearing our mind of our indoctrinations from childhood up to your present moment. Start clearing and saying, "Who am I?" And really focus on and let that collective conscience that's out there that we are part of give you those answers. They will come to you. It may take a little bit of time to really hear them discern what's being said, but you're going to feel it in your body somewhere. So just listen to what's being injected into your spirit, into your conscious. Because if all consciouses are one, then we're all one. We got to quit separating ourselves.
Yeah, and again, religion has played a big part in that, and destroying you. And say you're worthless, you're nothing, you're a sinner, and as far as we're concerned, you're all going to burn unless
you follow our way.
You follow our way and worship our God.
Right.
You can't do that. You have to get away from having to go through anything and anybody and realize that you are the all.
We are part of the all.
And
yes.
You are going to die. You are going to transition, but you have to understand.
But it's a transition. It's not a
transition.
death. It's not death.
I think death has become something that has been really misleading to people these days.
Yes.
Between Halloween and horror movies and man's imagination, it's really destroyed the beauty of death. And I think it was probably something that was a beautiful thing at one time.
Right. I think of the movie Mulan. I just in the beginning scenes of it, there's the little dragon. I don't remember the character's name, but the little dragon was in this room with different spirits of the family. And they were all in there talking, and it's like, it just reminds me of that movie for some reason, that, we do live on from this.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't teach that. And they don't believe that. And I don't know, there's so many different beliefs out there, but ever since we started really studying these NDEs and really breaking them down and really looking into them, you can see there's a lot of commonalities, and they all come back with one message: love, like you can't comprehend.
Love, exactly.
That oneness.
Unconditional love. Be the love. Be the light.
The oneness.
Yes. And I have friends.
You are the all.
Family that would look at me and say, "Oh my God, devil's got her. She's gonna burn. She needs to get her beep together." But that's their perception of it. At this point in my life, I have more enlightenment, more love than I've ever had my whole entire life.
Well, with that thought of mine, what's a beep, beep, beep?
Bleepers, you can't say that on the air.
Oh, I got you. Well, you could have said it, and I'm sure we could have, could have edited it, could have bleeped it out. But you're saving the editing team the
bleep, bleep, bleeps.
Yeah, you just bleeped it out for them. I got it. Okay. Good deal.
And believe it or not, some of those church-going ones that was been saying the bleep, bleep, bleeps, not living the way they're supposed to live by their own standards if they're saying those bleep, bleep, bleeps.
That's true. Well, let's look at a couple of these breakdowns here. I'm looking at the on consciousness. So some key aspects and theories related to consciousness include. We're going to look at the top 5 here on today's episode. Now, number 1 is called subjective experience, and I'm going to read it. Consciousness involves subjective experiences such as feelings, emotions, and perceptions. It is the what it's like aspect of being. Mm-hmm. Comments?
Isn't feeling and emotions kind of tied hand in hand?
Yeah, so feelings with the S, with the plural on it, would be the same as emotion or emotions, whereas feeling without the S would be more of the sense.
Okay.
But the feelings that you're feeling, we can identify, I would say, and still get away with probably calling it, emotions. Okay, let's look at number 2, self-awareness. Consciousness often involves self-awareness, the ability to recognize oneself as an individual distinct from the environment and other beings.
Now, see, that's what we're trying to get away from is the individualism. We are, according to these NDE stories, a collective consciousness. We are connected energetically to everything on Earth.
Yes.
So we don't want to individualize, for sure.
Well, on the other side of the coin, to comment on that, the ability to recognize oneself as an individual is you are an individual.
We are.
So you do have to recognize yourself as an individual.
But we're that little piece of the light.
But you're still part of the whole.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say you're all the whole, and you have no individuality, because
right.
your individuality is what makes you.
Exactly.
I can't call you God or you source. You're a part of
just
source.
A piece of it.
You're a piece of that source. Mm-hmm. However, it's more of an so the consciousness is you are aware, and I think of people who have the NDEs. They're conscious of their bodies. They have an awareness. They're conscious of their hands. They say they're transparent. Mm-hmm. Or they may have a blue glow to them, or
some are balls of light, some are spheres.
So there is different. I would say that awareness of individuality. I don't think it's a bad thing.
It's not right. You're right with that.
But
it's
you
just
realize
awareness
you
of
still
self.
You have to be aware of self, and you have to be aware of all. Which is the source, or what we call God, or that source. You are of that essence, that source.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the you, which is of that. That you carry with you when you cross over. You're still going to be you, but not the you that you think you are on this realm.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're going to shine like you like there's no tomorrow. You can't even comprehend how beautiful you are. Every single person on Mother Earth. A lot of people are going through some dark stuff, so they'd have to get all that stuff cleaned up and all. But for the most part, most souls, when you cross over and get purged and everything, and you're going to be, you're going to be shining like the sun, you really can't even comprehend what you really look like in that spirit world.
Right.
In fact, why don't you share that episode of Jordan Maxwell? We years ago, or it's been quite a while back. Something on the lines of they were out, him and a couple of other people around the Area 51 desert and looking for some kind of UFO stuff, or anyway, they had some kind of experience with some UFOs, okay, some unidentified flying objects or something.
They were blue. He said 6 bluish light discs that like 4 people experienced the same thing. So
yeah, he had the witnesses and all. So, but long story short, it was like, months later, he was with somebody and they went to this medium, I think, or some kind of channeler or psychic or something.
He had actually went for a life regression session, and he got there and she said, well, you don't need a life regression at this point in your life, and went on to tell him a few other things. But in telling this story, he had to back up. He had went out to that same area, had rented a car, didn't tell anyone he was going out there.
That's right.
And was meditating and just, asking questions and everything. And going back to the life regressions, past life regression thing, she was sitting there and started laughing. He said, "What are you laughing at?" And she told him that experience, he had rented a car and these things, and he went out there and was asking the spirit or beings, whatever, aliens that he thought it was,
to reveal themselves or something like that.
Yeah, and she said, they heard you, yes, you got your answer. And that confirmed to him that they had heard him.
Yeah, and to go with that, what I'm tying with this here is, when I said that you're going to be this beautiful light, all knowing, beautiful, glowing light, okay, this part of source that you are. But remember that they told Jordan that, you can't even
begin to imagine what you really look like.
He said, something on the lines of, we can't even expose ourselves to you. You're not going to understand. He said, you can't even comprehend what you look like, right, much less understand what we look like.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was something on that line right there.
Right.
He said, if you saw, the medium told Jordan that if you saw who you really are, it would blow your mind. It would even scare you.
Yeah.
So you don't realize what kind of a spiritual creature that you
truly
are,
yeah,
and how big and powerful that creature really is, and we're confined to this.
Yeah, you can YouTube it or Spotify. I've got it on my playlist on Spotify. It's the Jordan Maxwell Alien Adventure, I think. It's not adventure, but alien story. I mean, you can Google it and find it. And I've listened to that story actually like 3 or 4 times, just because it's so compelling. I mean, it's just really
since I've seen it.
A pretty wild story.
Well, let's move on to number 3 here: levels of consciousness. Okay, now consciousness is not an all or nothing phenomenon. Okay, there are different levels of consciousness, ranging from full wakefulness to various states of altered consciousness, such as dreaming or deep sleep.
And the beta, theta, alpha, delta state of being.
Absolutely. That would be a way to describe those different levels, for sure.
Alpha, beta, delta, theta. That's right. There's the four levels, correct?
Mm-hmm. And from what I'm understanding, you juggle back and forth between beta and alpha.
Yes.
The delta and the theta are going to be the more deeper.
The theta is where you're full sleep. dream mode.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Theta or the delta? I don't want to
I
quote
can't
it
remember.
right
I'll
now.
have to get my book out. I've
Yeah.
got a book on meditation that I've been reading for a minute. I'm in and out of it because I read so much. I've got like several books I got going on at one time. But I need to pick that out and look at it.
It's been years. I studied it when I was doing hypnosis, and studying the mind. And I've,
Theta. Delta's. I think delta is the dream state. Mm-hmm. I do believe that's
I believe
right.
it is too, baby. Yeah, because I think it is too. Yeah, but I really can't remember. It seems like it, but really, even in your meditations, you really want to get to those delta and theta states.
Without
those
going to
states
sleep.
Without going to sleep.
That's where you really connect with source at.
That's right.
And get those really think about a question that you want answered and go into that state and you'll have received that answer.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's real. It works. It works. Number 4, neuroscientific perspectives. Okay, now neuroscientists study the neurocorrelates of consciousness.
Neuro is brainwave activity, right?
Trying to understand how brain activity gives rise to subjective experiences. The integrated information theory and global workspace theory are examples of neuroscientific approaches to understanding consciousness. Any
Okay.
comments?
Not on that, no.
Okay. And number 5, philosophical perspectives. Philosophers have explored consciousness through various perspectives, such as dualism, mind and body are distinct, monism, which mind and body are fundamentally the same, and panpsychism. Consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe.
What's that last one again?
I was going to ask you if any of those registered with you or resonated with you. Let me read them again, okay?
Yeah.
Dualism.
Actually, that's where we live in the world of
Dualism is
yeah.
mind and body are distinct. That's what
Separate.
most people believe that. That
Right.
the mind and body are two separate things. Mm-hmm. Monism or monism, mind and body are fundamentally the same. Okay? And panpsychism, and I hope I'm even saying that right, consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe.
Yes.
Comments? Yeah?
Yeah.
So consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
What do you think on that one?
Yeah, pretty much. The universe.
I mean, where I'm at in my
all.
walk now, that's what I understand consciousness to be. Is part of the all, part of the consciousness of the universe and every spirit that's ever been. Because you hear that so much in the NDE stories that they connect and telepathically communicate all one at the same time, but can single out individual conversations with individual spirits.
So I guess would that make your belief system, as far as that part goes, your panpsychism?
I guess I'm a panpsycho. I mean, psychism. What is
Yeah, it goes with all your other psychological.
my other 17 personalities?
Yeah. Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, looking at the clock, I guess we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap things up. And yeah, it's been a pretty fun episode. Just kind of
Yeah,
going over
there's
that there. And it's so much. I mean,
yes, that's what I was
you
going to
can't
say.
cram it all in one episode.
No, and we really have to just stop and sit down and breathe and relax and clear our mind to realize that we are more than just this physical.
Right.
We really are.
Correct.
And that is what lives on and goes back to source and connects with everything else. And
And
becomes
it's so
that one
beautiful.
again.
It's
It is
so
beautiful.
beautiful when you
Yes,
think about
it
it.
is.
And I read, in fact, I read several today, and even commented on a couple of posts. But the one of the questions was on the lines of, in fact, I don't want to get too far into this because this is a whole different subject we've covered actually, and we may do future podcasts on the topic. But it was on the lines of how much the cultural and religious aspects influence the NDE as far as them seeing Jesus and seeing,
Buddha or
Buddha,
Shiva,
Krishna, Vishnu. that's, and my comment was the source is going to appear the way the source needs to appear to that person.
Right. Reveal itself to your highest self to help you to make adjustments, or if you need adjustments, or for your highest good.
Yep.
For your lesson in life.
Absolutely. That's why all the NDEs vary. Some see Jesus, but my question, and I had also commented with, if no one has ever seen Jesus before, how do you know it's Jesus? It's the essence.
The essence of, yes.
And that's the essence is coming from where? The source. It's coming from what we call God.
Which is the conscious, the collective.
Yeah.
So.
Which, Yeshua was able to tie into and to tap into as well. And
the other
told us that
masters.
we all, absolutely, all the multiple ascended masters throughout history has taught us how to do so as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap things up on this episode of the NDE World Podcast. And don't forget to go to NDE.world and contact us and let us know your story. We'd love to have you on the podcast and be able to share your story with others. How's that sound?
Yes, looking forward to scheduling some more. Yes, I can't wait to get those edited and put out there for everyone.
Absolutely. Me as well. Miss Daphne, thank you for coming in the studio today. I am your host, Ashton, and this is my co-host, Daphne. And again, you're listening to NDE World. We send you our love, and may peace be with you all. Until next time.
Let your light shine.
For more information about the NDE World Podcast, visit NDE.world. That's NDE.world.